I'm here on the corner of South Broadway and Merrill Street. Today, we're going to learn all about the City Clerk's office. Welcome to the Mayor's Corner. I'm Mayor James Boyd. In each episode of the Mayor's Corner, we plan to take you to explore a different part of the city of De Pere as we discuss the latest happenings in our community. Plus, we'll take a behind-the-scenes look at various areas of city government. Most of all, we want to show you all there is to celebrate about the city of De Pere. I'm here on the corner of South Broadway and Merrill Street outside City Hall. City Hall houses many departments, but one of the most important is the City Clerk's office. Let's head inside and meet today's special guest. All right, today I'm with our City Clerk, Carey Danen. Carey, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Mayor Boyd. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Could you first tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you to joining the City Clerk's office and becoming eventually our City Clerk?
Well, sure. I joined the city 10 years ago as an admin assistant for development services. And then I moved into the deputy clerk position in 2016 and became the clerk in 2019.
And replaced longtime clerk.
Shayna Ledvina.
Yes.
My mentor and predecessor.
Right.
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, and then prior to that was Dave Mitten for many years, correct?
Yep.
So we really only had 3 clerks in the past 20 plus years. And that transition and that stability, I'm sure, gives you confidence, and you've learned a lot from
Absolutely.
From Shayna, and then obviously Dave prior to that.
Right.
Awesome, that's great. Okay, the City Clerk's office is a lot for the city. Could you explain your role and maybe some of the stuff that the City Clerk's office does? They often attribute the City Clerk's office to voting, but there's a lot more than that.
Right, exactly. And you're right, we are responsible for election administration, but we also manage council proceedings, meetings, and official records. We issue licenses and permits. And we manage the city's insurance policies and submitting of claims and everything of that nature. We're also involved in tax roll preparation and collection.
And you guys are on the first floor, so if people do have questions or needs, they can obviously go to the website, connect with the office, or just simply walk in. So
Absolutely.
You guys are very active. Now, some people might notice if they come to the council meetings or some other meetings or watch us on TV that you sit right next to me. So you're the clerk that does a number of things to keep the council moving forward and obviously assisting me. So possibly could you explain your role, the nights of the council and other committee meetings that you attend, and then what you do possibly afterwards as well too?
Sure. Well, during the meeting, I am taking minutes and recording votes and trying to keep everything in line, and as you said, helping you however I can.
Yep, which I do need a lot of help for the record.
So before each meeting, I have to assemble and distribute the agenda, publish any legal notices that are required.
All legal documents then you would get to me afterwards, I would sign.
Absolutely.
As part of the job that I'm discharged to do.
Right. So then coordinating the signing of any resolutions and ordinances, legal documents and agreements, and coordinating all of that after the meeting too.
Oh, great. All right, good to hear. All right, there's a spring election on April 4th. Facilitating elections is a large part of your role for the city, as we know. Can you explain the process of prepping for an election? All the staff that's needed to conduct the election, carry it out. So kind of take us through the nuts and bolts.
Sure. Well, for every election, large or small, we have to test all of the voting equipment. We have to schedule and train our poll workers, and we have to set up our 4 different polling locations as well as our central count for absentee ballots. My election prep checklist is many pages long.
Pretty vast.
Yeah, pretty vast. It's a huge process, and it's something I couldn't do without the help of our staff.
Sure.
We have such a great team, and they all pitch in and do whatever is needed to get the job done. I can't say enough good things about them, and I'm really grateful for all of them. It's a team effort, and all of us, we work so hard to make sure that our elections are safe and secure, and we are really, really proud of that fact.
And we are, and we're cognizant of that as well too. And yes, our elections are safe and secure. They have been, they will be, and they will continue to be in the future.
Absolutely.
And that should give the residents a great deal of confidence. And I have no problem stating that whatsoever. So it often seems like we're in election mode 24/7,
Right.
7 days a week, 12 months out of the year, and we kind of are. And we came off a spring election. Obviously now we're pivoting for the general election on April 4th. So,
Right. We just finished the primary, and now, as you said, the spring election on April 4th. And I do have to give a shout out too to all of our poll workers. We have over 75, really dedicated people who show up and get the job done for us. And
75 people, giving their time to make
Right.
sure that this thing works efficiently, and forget about the safe thing. They just literally think this is so important to them that they want to be part of democracy, so they give at the local grassroots level. So that's awesome.
Yes.
I'm glad you recognize them.
Yeah.
So talking about the election is done, it's finished. How about the process after the election is concluded? So it gets to 8 o'clock that night. What happens then? It's
Right.
excitement time.
It is excitement time, yes. So the voting tabulator machines, each one is programmed with an encrypted memory stick that contains the vote counts. And so those are delivered via chain of custody to the county, so that the county can upload the election results, and then they post the election results. So that happens on election night. And then, of course, everything else comes back to us, and the ballots themselves are delivered and secured at the county.
And which brings up a really good point that residents should understand from the Pere, that the county basically is the overseer of all the municipalities in Brown County.
That's
That's the
correct.
clearinghouse for everything. So if folks are looking for results on election night, they can obviously route themselves to Brown County, click on election results. It'll eventually get to April 4th of 2023, and you get the results.
Right.
Maybe not instant, but at least, in a timely fashion, as quickly as they can.
That's right.
All right, perfect. Okay. There are a few ways to vote. Few ways to vote. Can you explain the difference between absentee ballots, in-person absentee voting at City Hall, and voting in person on election day? So you got 3 ways.
Sure. So residents can vote absentee by mail, or they can come to City Hall during the 2 weeks before every election and cast an absentee ballot in person. So whether we receive it through the mail or via that in-person process, those absentee ballots are stored here at City Hall in our vault until Election Day. So they're not opened and processed until the day of the election. We have a separate group of poll workers
And
that does that.
that's by law.
Yes,
So it's not just us, it's
absolutely.
everyone doing the exact
Yeah,
same thing.
Yeah, Wisconsin does not have true early voting where people are casting a ballot
Sure.
before Election Day.
Yep.
And then, of course, the third option is voting in person at your polling place on Election Day. All of our polling places are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay, so the election finishes on a really busy election night. It could take a while to open up all those ballots and get that count done. But you have
Absolutely,
people on
yeah.
staff, obviously, to do it, and it's again, it's very safe, secure, and it's being monitored. So that's great. All right, with elections in previous years, people may be used to showing up to vote, seeing a lot of paper and binders. But in the last year or so, we've had access to a new technology called Badger books. And I've used this, and so has everyone else. Can you tell us what these Badger books are meant to do and how it helps the process on Election Day?
Well, Badger books are simply electronic poll books. They look like a point of sale kiosk that you might see at a retail place, but simply the same information that was in those old paper poll books is on the Badger books. And it helps make the registration and check-in process a lot smoother and faster. And it also helps the flow of traffic of the voters through the polling place. One really nice thing for us is that it significantly reduces the amount of staff time that we need to put in after the election.
Oh, sure.
As far as reconciling all of the numbers and recording the voters' participation.
And I know in previous council decisions, unanimously they approved the purchase of Badger books, and I think continued at another time as well. So municipalities are not required to do this.
No.
But this is something that helps the process a great deal and assists in a great way, not just for you and your whole staff, but residents as well, and gives them peace of mind
Absolutely.
voting. So that's great. This technology is very, very cool, but to make sure our citizens are comfortable, Carey recorded a step-by-step overview of what to expect at the polls when it comes to Badger books. Let's take a look at this little video put together explaining how to use Badger Books and what it looks like.
Things may look a little different at your polling place this August. Paper and pen have been removed and replaced with the Badger Books, the City of De Pere's new electronic solution to poll books. In 2017, the Wisconsin Elections Commission staff developed the Badger Book to be used in Wisconsin polling places on Election Day. The electronic poll book software is specific to Wisconsin election practices and statutes. These electronic poll books are safe, secure, and accurate. Badger Books are not connected to the internet or any other network outside the polling place. So what are they and how do they work? Badger Books are simply an electronic version of the paper poll books that you're used to seeing in 3-ring binders at the polls. The electronic poll book makes the process faster for voters and reduces the potential for errors by poll workers. The Badger Book is primarily used to check in voters, process absentee ballots, and register voters on Election Day. On the back end of the election process, the Badger Books eliminate countless hours of work put in by city staff to input Election Day voter registrations and record voter participation. The Badger Book maintains the voter number and count independent of poll worker input. Overall, Badger Books simplify the process at the polls because voters are no longer required to get in a line based on their last name or the ward they live in. The system recognizes these differences and issues voter numbers sequentially, so any voter can go to any station at their polling place to check in. That brings us to Election Day. The process will be much the same. The voter will state their name and address, and the poll worker will look up their information in the Badger Book. The voter will then show their photo ID. The Badger Book screen provides all valid types of ID selections that can be used, including specific expiration dates, so the poll worker can be certain they're accepting a valid Wisconsin photo ID. The poll worker will then turn the Badger Book screen around so the voter can verify their information and sign with their finger, much like a credit card process at a retail store you might be used to. The machine will then automatically print a voter number slip that the voter will use to get their ballot. And here's a few important things to know. The Badger Books do not contain any confidential voter information. Hacking a Badger Book is not possible because the books are not connected to the internet. They are only connected via LAN to the other machines at the same polling place. Election Day registration information is encrypted. The Badger Books have the entire statewide voter database. And why does this matter? If a voter shows up to vote in De Pere, but they actually live, for example, in the town of Lawrence, the system automatically alerts the poll worker about the voter being in the wrong polling place. The system can provide the poll worker with the voter's correct information, and they can pass that along to the voter. Voters can also register to vote on the Badger Books. Voters looking to register won't need to stand in one line to register and then another line to check in. Finally, just want to tell you that because this is a new process for our poll workers, please be patient and kind as they learn the new process. Badger Books were created by the Wisconsin Election Commission to improve the voter process. While the poll books may look different, they should make check-ins simpler and faster. Plus, the process cuts down the time it takes for city staff to input Election Day voter registrations and records of voter participation. The electronic poll book software is specific to Wisconsin election practices and statutes. Most importantly, the new electronic poll books are safe, secure, and accurate.
All right, wow, that's a cool piece of technology and a great addition for the city of De Pere, and obviously helps with efficiencies, so we're excited about that. Carey, thanks for all you do, your team, in making sure the elections are secure, safe, which they have been, they will be, and they'll continue to be in the future. So to myself, on behalf of the city of De Pere, thank you, and then thanks to the staff. So thank you for being here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the invitation. It was fun talking to you about what we do in the clerk's office.
Great. Thank you very much. And now to a few city updates. Believe it or not, summer is just around the corner, and we are already looking for staff to join us for summer parks and maintenance positions. The city is looking for lifeguards and pool staff, as well as summer parks and public works staff to help maintain the facilities and grounds across the entire city. These jobs are great for high school and college students or anyone looking for seasonal work. Head to DePereWI.gov to learn more about these positions. March 21st marked 1 year of our Photo of the Day feature on social media. The Photo of the Day feature aims to showcase the beauty of De Pere through the eyes of our residents and visitors. Photo submissions can be made at any time through the city website. Head to the Residents tab and click on Submit Photo of the Day. Be sure to follow us on social media, including Facebook and Instagram, to see Photo of the Day posts. Finally, a special thanks and congratulations goes out to our longtime finance director, Joe Zeggers. Joe retired on March 17th after more than 24 years of service to the city. Joe is a lifelong citizen, graduating from Notre Dame of De Pere Grade School, Abbott Pennings High School, and St. Norbert College, and has been dedicated to serving his community. Before Joe joined the city in 1998, he worked for an area CPA where he audited nonprofit organizations and government entities, including the city of De Pere. Thank you, Joe Zeggers, for a quarter-century of service to the city of De Pere. We wish you all the best in the next chapter of your life. That's it for this episode of the Mayor's Corner. We'll see you again soon for another behind-the-scenes look at the city of De Pere and all that's happening. I'm Mayor James Boyd.